Ooh, Bad Larry.
What's up, Bad Larry Kingdom? I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we're checking out The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 2. What's interesting is issue number 1 came out in March, and then they took a month off and then released the second issue in May. I think that they really have improved some of the layout, the art in issue compared to issue number 1. And what we see in this issue is the original Vulture, the first appearance of the original Vulture, and the first appearance of the Tinkerer. So let's check it out. Spider-Man's enemies just seem to be opposite of him in every way. Spider-Man's main color is red, the opposite of that is green. The Vulture here is in all green. Spider-Man Peter Parker is very young and quite attractive. The Vulture here is old and unattractive. So everything that makes Spider-Man cool, his enemies are the opposite. Even though it's the same artist, the art is much better in this second issue than compared in issue 1, in my opinion. Apparently, this old guy in this green suit's been able to make his suit fly without making any sounds, which is why he's able to just swoop up and steal briefcases full of money or bonds or whatever and just fly off so effortlessly. Currently, J. Jonah Jameson has his own publishing company called Now Magazine. He wants all the stories, the headlines to be of the Vulture, with also stories about hating Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson is over here demanding pictures of both the Vulture and Spider-Man. No one seems to be able to get a picture of either. And the kids in Peter Parker's high school are also saying that they wish they could get a picture of the Vulture. And Peter Parker's thinking, this is a great idea. I never thought about that. Maybe I'll go into photography. In this issue, Flash Thompson is a gingerballs redhead, and he tosses the magazine at Peter, calling him a big nerd. And then as Peter's thinking about his plot to make some money as being a photographer, his science experiment explodes. So his teacher's yelling at him. He can't do anything right, it seems like. And then Aunt May winds up digging out an old camera, giving it to Peter. He's going to have to figure out how he can attach it to his current spider suit. And then we see the Vulture is planning his next heist. Apparently, Park Avenue Jewelry Company is moving $1 million worth of diamonds. Why would they put that in the newspaper? So they could try to get robbed? Well, that's what they did. So now Vulture's planning to rob those diamonds, but he knows that they'll be expecting it. Apparently, the Vulture is living in some old barn just outside of Manhattan, and as he's flying into the city, Peter Parker's spider senses are tingling. He can tell that the Vulture is near, but he can't hear anything. The Vulture apparently is able to fly so silent that not even Peter Parker can hear him. The part of the Vulture's plan is to taunt his enemies and get them dazed, so he sends a message to J. Jonah Jameson's company, the radio station, and then his final message is a brick through the window of the police station to get them all riled up. Peter Parker or Spider-Man gets lucky. The Vulture lands right by him. He snaps a few pictures. He thinks they're going to be worth a fortune, but as Spider-Man's taking the picture, he kicks some brick, which alerts the Vulture. The Vulture does a flying back maneuver silently because he's got some sort of silent wing technology and knocks Spider-Man out with a kick to the back of the head, carries his unconscious body to some water tower, dumps him in the tank. Easy peasy for the Vulture. At this point, Spider-Man is considered a quote-unquote small interruption to the Vulture. Hitting the cold water reawakens Spider-Man. He tries to shoot his web shooters to get out of this predicament. He's all out of web juice. No! He tries to climb the walls, but they're too slippery, even for Spider-Man. He has to think, or he's gonna drown. He swims to the bottom. Remember, he's got super spider legs with one jump. Spider-Man is free. Little water tank ain't holding Spider-Man down. Peter Parker's finally getting a little luck to go his way. His camera must have fallen on the floor when the Vulture threw Spider-Man in the tank, so Peter Parker can salvage some of these pictures that he's taken. Good news, the pictures came out great, and now when he goes to sell them, no one will think Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And because Peter Parker, the boy, is still a super nerd genius, he realizes that he's gonna have to make a change. This is what scientists do. They create a theory, they go through experiments and see if those experiments pan out. If they do, great. If not, you have to make a change. So Spider-Man said he created his costume all colorful red and blue because he thought he was going to be Spider-Man the Entertainer making cash. But now that he knows that's not going to happen, he's going to have to make some adjustments. He's going to have to add some more cartridges for his webbing so he never runs out of webbing, and he's going to make a little belt so he can keep more cartridges on his belt. Oh, great, and it tucks right under his uniform so no one can even see it. Now he's tinkering with the little object that he's surprised the Vulture with, and the next time they meet. Remember, Peter Parker's a teenager, and he's out there crime fighting and doing homework, and he has no lab or money, so he's able to make all of these devices basically on a poor man's hobo budget. Peter Parker takes his pictures to J. Jonah Jameson's news company. J. Jonah Jameson says, "Stop the presses. How did you get these pictures?" He's super pumped. He wants to give Peter Parker some cash. He says, "Keep these pictures flowing." At school, all the cool kids are trying to get Peter to join them in watching the diamond exchange happen on the park. But Peter says, "No, I don't want to be there. That Vulture's dangerous." And the kids are like, "Oh, we'll protect you, Peter. Little bookworm." Peter Parker assesses the situation. He sees there's news cameras everywhere, cops everywhere on the ground. There's that police helicopter in the sky. The Vulture would be crazy to try anything now, but just in case, I better slink off and change into Spider-Man costume. All the kids are making fun of Peter for leaving, thinking that he's a little scaredy cat. And moments later, the jewelry transfer begins. It seems well regulated. It's got a big tank carrying all the jewels, lots of cops on the ground and in the air. What could the Vulture even do? The cops are walking around like, guys, sky's looking clear." And the Vulture pops up from the sewer and says, "Ha, got you, bitch, and I got your jewels." The Vulture seems to be a formidable foe. Not only is he able to soar high in the sky with his made wings silently, but he's a clever old dog as well. The Vulture is laughing at the cops. He says he'll be miles away before the cops can even move that manhole cover. He's got his plan sorted out. He's out of the subway, and Peter Parker is thinking cash first, justice second. He's gonna get some pictures of that Vulture and maybe even catch him and turn him in, and he'll make loads of cash. Doing the right thing is kind of secondary to him at this point. There's a lot of lore to be learned in these early issues of Spider-Man. Peter Parker says the best thing that he likes about being Spider-Man is climbing up these sheer vertical buildings and walls. Spider-Man's spider sense is tingling. He knows the Vulture must be close. Spider-Man decides that he's gonna try to swing from building to building to catch up to the Vulture, which again is the first time that he's ever thought of that, which is amazing. But the Vulture looks behind him and he sees Spider-Man. And because the Vulture flies silently, he's able to give him the slip. The Vulture's head kick to the back of Spider-Man's head may have worked once, but not twice. Spider-Man's senses are tingling. He turns around just in time, but he does get knocked off the building. But because Spider-Man has his webs, he's able to web up to the Vulture's feet and go for a ride. The Vulture is talking mad trash to Spider-Man, saying, "What are you doing, you crazy fool? The sky is my element." And Spider-Man says, "What? Being in the air? That's my house now, fool." And he hits his little special buzzer, and then all of a sudden, the Vulture can't fly. They're both falling to their death. Spider-Man is able to catch himself with his webs, but he just lets the Vulture fall to the ground like a little leaf falling from a tree. He doesn't even try to save him. He doesn't even try to save the Vulture. He's just gonna let his old ass fall to the ground. He's like, he'll be alright. As the cops surround the Vulture and take him into custody, Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, is able to snap a few exclusive pictures. Again, money first, justice and saving people second at this point. Spider-Man, as Peter Parker, deduced that the reason the Vulture didn't make any sound when he was flying was because he must have been using some sort of magnet or magnet technology. So Peter Parker's device was an anti-magnetic inverter, and it worked, causing the Vulture to plummet to the earth. With the pictures that he sells to J. Jonah Jameson, he's able to pay the rent for an entire year for Aunt May, and he's got enough left over to get some new kitchen appliances. And of course, J. Jonah Jameson wants to know how this teenager, Peter Parker, is able to get these awesome secret pictures. And Peter Parker's like, "Well, I know a guy who knows a guy, don't worry about it." And the Vulture's sitting in prison, obviously vowing for revenge. In part 2 of this issue, Spider-Man's next enemy is named the Tinkerer, another super old dude who likes wearing green. Peter Parker's always his own lab assistant, Everybody else is huddled up in groups of 4 or 5 watching him work. He's too fast for them. He doesn't need no partner. And then the lab teacher comes in and says, that's our best student named Peter Parker. And he says, let me introduce you. Hey, Peter Parker, this is the renowned Dr. Cobwell. Parker's super excited to work with Dr. Cobwell. He thinks he's a renowned scientist. Dr. Cobwell tells Peter, hey, why don't you come to my lab tomorrow on a Saturday and before you come and pick up some radio equipment. Here's the address that you need to go. And Peter Parker's like, all right, cool. And all the other kids are like, teacher's pet, you're a nerd doing work on Saturday. Peter Parker's like, shut the fuck up, redhead ginger. But anyway, he realizes that Ish could go down at any time, so he's going to always wear his Spider-Man outfit under his regular clothes. And then off to the Tinkerers he goes. Peter Parker gives the card to Old Balls Tinkerer and thinks, man, this guy makes Joe Biden look like a young pup. But as the Tinkerer heads down to retrieve the item that Peter Parker has requested, Peter Parker's spider senses goes off. He's saying there's something nefarious and fishy going on down here. I don't know exactly what it is. And as the Tinkerer comes in, we see that he has some sort of alien as a worker, and all of his radios and all of his equipment obviously have bugs in it or something. And let's find out what the Tinkerer has put into the radio. The Tinkerer tells Spider-Man, all right, here's your bucks. It'll only be $1 dime. And Peter Parker's like, a dime? He's like, that's it. He's like, okay. Well, this guy is really old. He's losing his mind only charging a dime to repair this radio. But whatever, his loss. He heads out to the lab and he starts to sense that something's wrong. He can hear, he can feel the same frequencies that he felt at the Tinkerer's place of business. And he says, there's something crazy. I've got to figure out what it is. And he waits until Dr. Cobwell leaves the laboratory and he says, let's figure out what this is all going on. A quick inspection of the radio allows Peter Parker to realize something's fishy going on with this radio. Time to get into Spider-Man's gear and check out the Tinkerer's shop once again. Spider-Man is able to easily infiltrate the Tinkerer's shop. His spider senses are going wild, leading him downstairs, and he's thinking, what Tinkerer's shop, radio repair shop, has a secret, scary dungeon in the basement? As he goes downstairs, he can hear the nefarious plans. The aliens have planted bugs in all of these important Earthlings' devices, and they want to gain information before they plan their big attack on Earth. The aliens have really advanced technology for back in 1963. They're able to use their devices to not only get video, but also audio. These aliens are trying to steal all our military secrets, but Spider-Man is wise to their plan. The aliens find out Spider-Man's in their lair and start shooting some laser beams at him, but Spider-Man's too quick. Try to catch me now, you green some of my bitches. He climbs to the ceiling. They're like, oh, this ain't no normal human. This guy is special. We gotta catch him and dissect him and find out what he's all about. They throw some kind of device at him which loosens Spider-Man's grip. He's falling. The aliens are saying, our superior numbers in weight will cause our victory against this weird human creature. And Spider-Man's like, I don't think so. I got the strength of the spider. Be gone! Guacamole face. The Tinkerer shoots Spider-Man with some kind of laser beam, which would have killed a regular human, but Spider-Man's not no regular human. And the Tinkerer says, wow, this guy is super special. Let's put him on our specimen cage and dissect him. And if I told you people once, I've told you twice, you gotta watch out for the hidden secret stun gun ray gun. The guacamole aliens don't know that Spider-Man is also a super genius scientist kid. Spider-Man launches a web rocket right through the air vent in the glass, hits the control panel, bullseye, Spider-Man's free, time to whoop up on guacamole face alien. The battle between the guacamole space aliens and Spider-Man has caused the Tinkerer's lab to catch on fire. The guacamole aliens say, peace, we're out of here. We ain't dealing with this cat anymore. Just leaving the Tinkerer to die. They're like, He's pretty old anyway. He's probably going to die tomorrow or the next week. Spider-Man launches his attack against the Tinkerer. He says, I need to get a picture of you and all your criminal behavior so I can sell it to J. Jonah Jameson so I can get some more cash. That's my main primary concern. Wait, the smoke is getting too much. I can't see him. Where did this Tinkerer go? I better get out of here first. Save myself. Spider-Man is able to crawl out of a vent, swing away, and everyone thinks that Spider-Man created the fire. Of course. The guacamole green space aliens have made it back to their ship. They've activated some sort of remote that detonates all of their spy equipment and vowed never return to Earth again because they don't want to deal with that Spider-Man anymore. Peter Parker's back at the lab and he re-inspects the radio device that he picked up for Dr. Caldwell. He realizes all of the spy equipment is gone, so he thinks everything is cool. Dr. Caldwell tells Peter, I think I just saw a spaceship flying out of space. And Peter Parker's like, nah, you're just getting real old and senile. You better go see a neurologist. Peter Parker realizes that the Tinkerer was not just some old salty balls old man, but he could be anybody. This mask that he has, he's vowing to find out who the Tinkerer really is. Stan Lee gives us some more Spider-Man lore with the secrets of Spider-Man's web. Fortunately for Peter Parker and the world at large, the amazing teenager is a brilliant science student. He has devoted long hours of studying to learn everything he can about spiders. Although it's not a matter of public knowledge, he is probably the world's greatest authority on the subject of webs and their creation. His web-making ability is one of the most closely guarded secrets, but we can tell you this, he makes his own web fluid under the most examining conditions in the lab, storing it in small, compact cylinders like miniature toothpaste tubes. As any Spider-Man reader knows, Spidey's web shooter is worn on his wrist, and upon the slightest touch of his finger upon the supersensitive electrode located on the palm of his hand, inasmuch as his webbing is his most potent weapon, the masked adventurer always carries spare web fluid capsules clipped onto his ingeniously designed utility belt. His webs are as thin, incredibly strong line. They can spread a fine, quick spreading spray, or he can make it come out like a juicy, gooey glob. Okay, Bad Larry Kingdom, let me know what you thought about the Vulture and the Tinkerer as enemies of Spider-Man. Let me know who you think that the Tinkerer is, and make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.